Good morning, bakers. Good morning. Happy Saturday. It's full of fabulousness today, full of it. Let me just fix my lips. We'll be on our way. This is a lip butter. The color is called Quick Getaway. Super hydrating, lip nourishing, fabulous. It's my word of the day, I think. I've used it twice already. Anywho, I'm Lisa. We're coming to you today from the Camp Kailua Bakeshop, which is my kitchen. And I am so excited about this bake today, y'all. Marble cupcakes. I have had a real a need for cake in my life. I don't feel like making a whole huge cake, so cupcakes were kind of the answer, and I couldn't decide between chocolate or vanilla, so we're gonna mix them together. So crazy. I just realized I'm gonna need a knife to swirl that batter at the end. All right, a couple things before we get rocking and rolling. You're going to need your oven set to 350, and you're gonna wanna line your muffin pan with just paper liners. I mean, you could totally just go wild and put the batter straight in there, but if you do that, I would butter the heck out of each cupcake well so they don't stick. So there's that. Also, a couple of other things. Let me run down the ingredients for you. First of all, I have no idea where I got this recipe, so I can't give you a reference on that, but I'll just walk you through it and we'll kind of go from there. So you're going to need 1.25 cups of flour. I use all-purpose flour, but you could totally use cake flour if you wanted to. The ratio is the same. I would not use self-rising flour for this. You're also going to need salt. Silly of me. I like to use pink Himalayan sea salt, so that's what's going in mine. And I tend to go a little less on the salt, so there's that. You're also going to need 1 teaspoon of baking powder, not soda powder. 1/2 cup of unsalted butter, which is a stick, and you want that at room temperature. Now, don't panic if you haven't gotten yours at room temperature yet. Go ahead and grab that stick, heat up a bowl or something, put water in it and heat it up in the microwave for like 30 seconds, dump out the water, turn that bowl over that stick of butter, and it'll soften it right up. You'll be in good shape. You also are going to need a couple of eggs at room temperature, 1 cup of sugar, 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla extract. We're going to use some almond extract as well. We're going to use some milk, not a lot. Let me tell you, you're going to need 1/2 cup plus 1 tablespoon, but you want them separate because we're going to use them for 2 different things. And they also need to be at room temperature, which is a little weird because I haven't usually done recipes with milk that's not cold. So, but that's just to kind of help it incorporate a little bit better, I think. So we're also going to use cocoa. I knew I forgot something. Let me go grab the cocoa. So while you're gathering your ingredients, I'm gonna go grab the cocoa because I clearly can't read a recipe this morning to save my life. So grab what you need, get your oven going. I'll meet you back here. Alrighty, so I wasn't sure. I brought 2 because one's almost empty. So we'll see if I have enough in that one or not. I might. Okay, let's get baking. I am so excited I already kind of mentioned that I'm excited to be here because last week I missed you guys so much. I was just not feeling great. I hurt my back. I don't know what I did. It was terrible. It was super painful, hard to move, but here I am. I'm so glad. Hold on. Okay, cool, thanks. All right, let's bake, shall we? I'm gonna tip you over because we're gonna start with the stand mixer. If you don't have one, totally okay. You can use your hand mixer. You can mix it by hand. It might take a little longer, but you can totally do it. Buff up those arms a little bit. In my mixer bowl, I have already the stick of butter, and the recipe calls for a cup of sugar, but I tend to go, if you've been watching for a while, I've been cutting back on sugar and recipes. So this one has, I would say, closer to 3/4 cup of sugar. So yeah, I'm cutting it out a little bit. Not totally, but I find I don't need as much. So that's the end of my TED Talk. Okay, let's jazz this up a little bit. It's going to take, you want this to get kind of light and fluffy and really well incorporated. So let me lock this down. I use this all the time and I still have to look and figure out where the controls are. Someday, Julia, I'll get you, I'll understand you. Let me see here, does it say, it does not say the speed, so I'm just gonna, you know what's helpful? If you plug in the mixer first, let me do that. Good grief, you guys. This is proof that I need to have my coffee fully before I start baking. Oh my gosh. Hold on. Okay, to recap, in my mixer bowl, I have 1 stick of butter at room temperature, so it's pretty soft. I have less than a cup of sugar in the mixer bowl as well. You can use a full cup of sugar. I'm cutting back, so I'm at about 3/4 of a cup of sugar. All right, let's mix. All right, I'm just gonna let that go nuts. While it's going nuts, let me talk to you a little bit about dry ingredients. So in this little bowl, I've got 1.25 cups of flour. I'm using all-purpose flour. You can totally use cake flour if that's your jam. I mentioned earlier I would not use self-rising flour for this recipe. Great for stuff like biscuits and rolls and breads, not so great for cakes. So that's in here. I also have, the recipe calls for 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt, so I have probably a little bit less over here. I use pink Himalayan sea salt, so that's why it's pink. And then I also have 1 teaspoon of baking powder. I like to put them on opposite sides. I don't know why. Is there a reason? Is there somebody that knows? I don't know. I think I saw someone do it once, and so now I'm like, that's the way it should be done. All right, I'm gonna whisk these ingredients together. I feel like whisking does a couple of things for the dry ingredients. The first thing it does is it kind of breaks up any bits that might be sort of clumped together. It happens, it's okay. The second thing I feel like whisking does is it kind of aerates and adds a little bit of air to the dry ingredients. So you're gonna get a fluffier sort of cake or pastry, whatever you're making. So, yeah. All right, that should be pretty well mixed. Just gonna set that aside for now. We're gonna come back to it in a little bit. Let me just jam this up a little. Oh, it's looking pretty light and fluffy. Let me see. I'm gonna just sort of press everything down back into the bowl and let it run a little bit longer. I just wanna make sure it's really super, super fluff before I add the next step. All right, fluffs, get to it. I need to grab a paper towel. I'm a mess today, y'all. While this is going, I'm gonna have some more coffee. should also let you know that this recipe is going to make 12 cupcakes. You can double it if you want to make, 24 or however many you need, just bump it up. All right, I love this. I think we're ready to go. It is looking good. Look at how kind of light and fluffy this looks. Fantastic. All right. Thanks so much for joining. It's good to see you. Hello. All right. And guys, along the way, if you have any questions or anything, drop a comment. Let me know. Give me some hearts if I share a good tip. Whatever. I'm just glad you're here. Glad we're baking together today. All right, let me push everything down one more time. There we go. Had to really get in there. Ugh, gracious. Everybody stay in the pan. Okay, now, let me see what's next. The eggs. We're gonna add the eggs one at a time, and we're gonna mix in between. So, yeah. I'm gonna just crack it into this measuring cup. I'm a little afraid of the shells. These brown eggs, I don't know if you've ever used brown eggs, but the shells seem to be a little bit thinner. I don't know, so. All right, let's get that friend all mixed in there, and then we'll add the next one. Get my next ingredients together. Just really get that guy mixed in there. Huh? Okay. All right, again, I'm gonna just scrape everything down so we can have a really good, apparently forgot to lock that down. I'm telling you guys, I just need more coffee in my life today. All right. Did it that time. Okay, next egg, off we go. Very good. Just dumping, doing an egg dump. All right. Let's lock and mix. Perfect. I think that little last push really was all it needed, a little extra Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do is add the extracts, and yeah, so the flavor profile is gonna start to take place a little bit. We're gonna add both vanilla and almond. Almond is kind of a secret fun ingredient that you can add to lots of things, that it just gives it a little bit of a different flavor zhuzh. So we're gonna do that. If you are allergic to almonds, I don't know. I mean, it says artificial flavor. I don't know, just be careful. If you are allergic to almonds, I bet you could use like cherry, maybe, because it's very similar. All right, we're gonna use 1/8 teaspoon. I'm using this super cool, look at this, measuring, I don't know, it goes all the way up to 1 teaspoon, but It starts at 1/8, which is awesome. Almond extract is super strong, so you don't need a lot. We're gonna just do 1/8. All right. And then I'm gonna just use the same spoon for my, like, I'm not kidding, the whole kitchen smells like almond right now. It smells so good. I guess rather almond extract. Then I'm gonna use 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla. And let me go to 1, we'll do the 1 first, and then we'll do the half. All right. Okay, it's smelling so fabulous. Butter, sugar, vanilla, almond. Can't go wrong, right? All right, I'm gonna mix this up. All right, it is looking good. Everything's nicely incorporated and it's looking a lot like batter. So this next part is adding the dry ingredients and the milk. So what we're gonna actually do we're gonna mix in thirds. So I'm going to, let me just give this another little whisk, you know. Okay. Just get as much of that off of this spoon as I can. What we're gonna do is add the flour in 3 groups. Hold on, I got runaway stuff here. Okay. All right, and I'm just gonna use this shield for this part because I don't want flour all over the kitchen. And then while this is going on low speed, I'm gonna drizzle half of the milk. So I've got half a cup, so I'm gonna drizzle in 1/4 cup of milk. Doesn't have to be exact, but pretty close is fine. All right, then I'm gonna add the next flour. The main thing that you want to remember while we're doing this part is that we want to end with the flour. So I'm going to put it on pause before we do the rest, and I'm going to just push down the sides. I want to make sure everything is getting incorporated and mixed in. Because we don't want any weird flour pockets in our cupcakes today. All right, and I'm just gonna add the rest of the milk. Let that go. And then I'm gonna add just the rest of this flour. You know what I think I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna pull this off and just dump this in real quick. That way it can just kind of be going. All right. Let me scrape the sides and, oh, it's looking good. Okay. So what else do you have on tap for this weekend? Talk to me while I'm scraping. What are you doing? Looks like a nice sunny day here on the Gulf, so might do a little dock sitting, sunbathing. Oh, of course I drip some, right? All right, let me just mix this up again. Like I said earlier, we don't want any flour pockets in our cupcakes. That sounds gross. All right, y'all, I think we are in business. Okay, next step. Good grief. Okay, let me just lift this up. We're going to do get a little fancy. Just a little fancy. All right. Okay, let me just organize myself. Step aside, mixer. Oh, this smells so good. I can't wait till you grow up to be cupcakes. All right, I need my 1/4 cup measure because I am going to put 3/4 of a cups, I can't even speak, 3/4 cups of this batter into the bowl here. Looks yummy, smells yummy. I think I have a little spatula. Look how cute. So that's going to help me get every last bit of batter out of this measuring cup. I don't remember if this was part of a set or what, but it's from Pampered Chef, I think. Yeah. So it just does a great job of getting every last bit. You know what? I'm going to use that for that. All right. Next up, we are going to make, in this, I'm going to set that one aside. In this batter, we are going to mix it up and make it chocolate. So to do that, we're going to use cocoa powder. I need to get measuring spoon for that. I'm just going to use an old school one. So I need 3 tablespoons of cocoa powder. Totally up to you, whatever kind of cocoa powder you want to use. I'm just using regular Hershey's. We want 3. Did I say that already? 3. Well, it looks like I'm going to have just enough in this container. I won't have to open the new one yet. Perfect. Okay, and then remember earlier I told you that we needed an extra tablespoon of milk, so I'm going to just pour that right in. And then we're just going to mix it up. Aha! 3 tablespoons of chocolate cocoa powder goes a long way, doesn't it? And I'm not sure if you could use like melted chocolate, or I haven't tried it like that. Maybe. Should make it nice and chocolatey. You can see I'm still working on incorporating that cocoa in. Nice and chocolatey. All right. Perfect. So I'm going to set that aside. I'm going to put this over here. I can put this over here. Just getting my space organized, guys. Now for the fun part. I'm going to bring you over here and tip you down so you can see. All right, so here's what we're going to do. I have got my cupcake tin. I've got my liners in. We mentioned earlier, if you're not using liners, to butter the heck out of this. Depending on your pan, you may also need to flour it. I don't know. I just use liners, super easy. And then here's the fun part. We're going to put a little bit of both batters in each one of the holes. All right, let me give this a mix because it's been sitting a sec. Do not do like I did and just dump it over. What a mess. I think I saved it. It's okay. So this is interesting. The recipe calls for, I mean, it says it makes 12, but I'm not sure. We'll see. Might make more than I think. I think I need a little bit more in the first one. The other thing that's kind of fun about cupcake tins and liners, you could put like a marble in, and then it makes them like little heart shapes. You just stick it on one side. So cute. I was thinking too, you could make this part any color that you wanted to. That could be kind of fun too. It's gonna be extra vanilla. Well, you know what? This is going further than I thought it was going to. For sure. Huh. Wow. Okay, it makes 12. It smells so good. That almond coming through, And I've even got quite a bit left, so I'm gonna just go top off some of them that look a little small. I will tell you too that for some reason the almond extract kind of makes the batter look a little weird. Don't panic. It's just almond extract. It's what it does. Like I said, I use almond extract quite a bit, and it does look like this, so it's normal. Don't panic. All right, we are almost done with this vanilla. Kind of got it all over my hands, but that's what I do, right? If you've watched me before, you're like, well, of course she did. Okay, let's add a little chocolate goodness to each one. These are gonna be awesome. You could, if you wanted to, kind of mix it up and do chocolate first on some. I'm gonna mix them together anyway, but might want to. That's cool. This is just so fun. I mean, this part I know is not that great to watch, but I love the way that these turn out. They're so great. Again, I like to kind of scrape the sides, and this, like I mentioned earlier, this scraper deal does a really good job of that. So I guess while we're doing all this, Mega Millions, oh my gosh. Looks like one person won. Wasn't me. But how exciting, right? I hope it was somebody that really needed it. Or somebody that does a lot of good with it. Okay. Just gonna get this spoon back and just scrape. A little bit in to some of these. And I guess if you wanted to, you could reverse the order and do more chocolate and less vanilla if you wanted to. And then we're just taking the knife and just kind of running it through. And it's gonna kind of help to mix things up a little bit. It's not great for running through. You know what I'm gonna do first? Hold on. Sorry. Kind of get some of the air bubbles out. Maybe that's why I was having a little trouble running through. Yeah. Just making little swirlies. And there's no right or wrong to how you do it, so. But yeah, I was thinking as I was doing this, you could reverse it if you wanted to and do more chocolate and less of the vanilla. Could be yum. Oh, this is gonna be a good one, I can tell. Some of them are swirling a little bit better than others, but you know what? Like I said, there's no right or wrong. They're still gonna be fabulous, however they turn out, right? I mean, it's chocolate and vanilla. How can you go wrong? All right, good stuff. All right, so while I'm doing this part, I think you guys should recommend your favorite binge-worthy shows. What do you have for me? I like funny, but I also kind of like sci-fi. I'm getting into it a little bit, which is weird because I never liked sci-fi much before. So let me know. Okay. Boy, that one, the chocolate was like, yeah, I just want to kind of sit here in the middle. I'm good. I'm good, thanks. And really, you could, if you wanted to, just kind of leave them and see what happens as they bake. All right, speaking of bake, I think these bad boys are good to go. Let me just pop them in the oven. Alexa, set a timer for 20 minutes.
20 minutes, starting now.
Okay guys, that's the marble cupcake base. Super duper fun and easy. And I can't wait to eat them. Now, they probably would be great on their own. When they finish baking, you want to look for, if you tap it, the top to kind of spring back really nicely. So that's how you'll know. You also want to let them cool a few minutes in the pan and then go ahead and pull them out to a cooling rack. I'm probably gonna let them cool for like 3 or 4. Help them keep the shape a little bit, but then you want them to cool evenly all around. After they are completely cool, I'm probably gonna frost them. Here's what I'm gonna do. Let me walk you through. This is just a super easy buttercream frosting. In the mixer, I'm going to mix 1/2 cup of softened butter, so a stick of softened butter, and 1/4 cup of cocoa powder. I'm gonna mix that up. You want it to be a nice smooth consistency. After that, I'm going to add about 2.5 cups of powdered sugar, and I'm going to add a teaspoon of vanilla. Let that kind of mix in, and then I'm going to slowly add milk. Now, by like slowly, I mean a tablespoon at a time until it gets to frosting consistency, however I want it to be. You could add a bunch and make it more like a glaze and just sort of pour it over, that's cool. Or if you want it a little bit thicker, you're gonna use maybe 2-3 tablespoons, not a lot. And yeah, you wanna use your mixer the whole time. It's gonna help it be nice and light and fluffy, really yummy, good stuff. So that's the frosting, that's my jam, chocolate frosting. You could, I guess, if you wanted to, marble up your frosting as well and just do like we did, mix everything together, then split it and add the cocoa to part, and yeah, you could do that. So fun. Why not? So that's marble chocolate, or not chocolate. Got chocolate on the brain from the frosting talk. That's marble cupcakes, y'all. So good. I can't wait to bake these. Thank you so much for joining me. If you bake these, let me know. Tag me, post a picture, share it on the wall, whatever. I'd love to see it. I'm always happy to see your bakes. Speaking of that, if you have any ideas for future bakes, reach out, let me know, message me, comment, whatever. Always happy to add in your baking ideas to the schedule, so definitely let me know. The other thing I wanted to remind you of is you can sponsor a bake. Reach out, message me, DM me, comment, whatever, let me know. Happy to let you know how to do that. Super easy. You can sponsor one bake or you can sponsor them on an ongoing basis, whatever works for you. So that's that. Thank you so much for jumping on and baking with me today. Happy Saturday. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. I'll see you soon.